Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Today, inshallah, we are going to talk about the last reading selection in Unit 4, and that is a poem. It is written by Edgar Guest. The title of the poem is It Couldn't Be Done. Just to reflect back on the theme of the unit and everything that we have discussed so far in our almost 9 to 10 lectures, this is all about Unit 4, and I would like you to just look at it again. Unit 4 is hope, courage and determination. That is the theme of the unit, right? And in unit we have discussed two short stories. First is determination, and the second one was the man who planted trees. We covered them both along with their exercises. The last reading selection that we are going to discuss in this unit is basically a poem. And this poem is by Edgar Guest. We are going to read the text of the poem, and I will explain it stanza wise then, and try to analyze the poem. During all this discussion, I believe I will try to come up with the figurative language that has been used. I will try to explain that. At the same time, I will try to relate it to the real life events also. And at the same time, I will try to relate this poem to the previous two reading selections, the two short stories that we have discussed in Unit 4. Today, hopefully, or in the next lecture, we will be done with Unit 4. We will inshallah finish this off, and then we will move on toward Unit 5. Now, look at the title of the poem. It is It Could Not Be Done. Remember, in titles we capitalize the content words. It is basically not a content word in this title, but since our title begins with this, so if it is going to be if it is opens with it, the, and etc., definitely they are going to be capital. Beside that, if the same it is here or anywhere in the title, it will not be capitalized. Remember, only the content word. Could not is the content word, or could is the content word, and done is also the content word. That is why both of them are being capitalized, while B is not a content word, which remains in lowercase. Now, I want you to open your books on page number 159 in this book, of course, that we have been discussing so far. In the poem, I'm going to discuss it stanza wise. First, I will read the whole poem in one go, which will give you a central idea of the text or of the poem. It is good to read the poem once, from start to the end, and then we will discuss it stanza wise. So please open your books on page 159. It Could Not Be Done by Edgar Guest. Somebody said that it could not be done, but he, with a chuckle, replied that maybe it couldn't, but he would be one who wouldn't say so till he had tried. Stanza number 2. So he buckled right in with the trace of a grin on his face. If he worried, he hid it. He started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done as he did it. Stanza 3. Somebody scoffed. Oh, you will never do that. At least no one we knew has done it. But he took off his coat and he took off his hat, and the first thing we knew, he had begun it. Stanza 4. With a lift of his chin and a bit of a grin, without any doubting or quiddit, he started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. Stanza 5. There are thousands to tell you it can't be done. There are thousands to prophesy failure. There are thousands to point out to you, one by one, the dangers that wait to assail you. the last stanza. But just buckle right in with a bit of a grin. Just take off your coat and go to it. Just start to sing as you tackle the thing that cannot be done, and you will do it. That was the first reading of the poem. I hope you might have, come up with a central idea at least of the poem. Remember, we have, one subject matter or the central idea in a poem, and there are different themes in the poem. So, central idea or the theme, they are two different things. So, I hope you have, you might have come up with the central idea of the poem, and that is basically, I would just quickly go back to the same thing again, that is hope, courage and determination. It has the same theme as we have discussed in the previous two short stories. So now the same idea, the same phenomena of hope, of courage and of determination is being explored through a poem. Let's talk about quickly the rhyme scheme of the poem. The rhyme scheme is AB, and then CD and CD. It means alternative rhyme scheme is being deployed throughout the poem in every stanza. Just look at your book. Look at the first line. Somebody said it could not be done. If we name the word, the sound done as A, and then replied, the second line, replied, it's of course different from done. So we will name it as B. Come to the third line, we have one and done. They are rhyming, right? So we will also name it as A. As we have named done as A, we will also name one as A. Look at the fourth line of the first stanza, tried. Now tried does not rhyme with one or done, but it does rhyme with replied and tried. So it is rhyming, so we will also name it as B, right? Come to stanza number 2. The last word is grin, and that in stanza 2, line second, if we have the word it, and then thing, and then it again. So definitely grin does not rhyme with any of the previous sounds that we have so far named as A, B. It means we are going to give it a new name, which is C, right? And then look at the word it. It does not rhyme with any of the previous or the preceding sounds, so we will name it as D. Then look at the word thing in line number 3 of the same stanza. It does rhyme with grin and thing, right? So we will also name it as C. And then the last it, of course it rhymes with the second line it, so we will name it as D. So it means the rhyme scheme in the poem is, it is going to be AB, CD and CD, which means it will be on alternative basis, like line 1 will rhyme with line 3. Line 2 will rhyme with line 4. Right? I hope it is clear now. You can check it throughout the poem, the rest of the stanzas in the same manner. I'm going to discuss it now quickly, stanza wise. Look at the first stanza. Somebody said that it could not be done. Somebody. It is a pronoun, and of course it does not identify any specific person. Impersonal pronoun, right? It does not, personify, or it does not, represent a specific person. Somebody. It means, this is the voice of, we can say, the society, the common people, the masses out there. Somebody said that it could not be done. Somebody, the prevalent thought in the society can be called as somebody, right? Said that it could not be done. Now, it is again used, and it represents something that is not being mentioned earlier. So it means here, it means anything. By anything, we will explore it through the poem, throughout the poem. It here represents not a specific thing again. But anything that is new and that is for the first time, that is a unique idea or a novel idea or anything that has not been done before, is basically being represented by the pronoun it. Somebody said that it could not be done, but he, with a chuckle, replied, he can be you, me, anyone who is courageous, who is hopeful, who has determination, and who has courage to do a certain thing for the first time, or to go and make a new way out. Right? So, it is a prevalent idea in the society that everyone will tell you it could not be done. This thing that you are talking about, nobody did that. You can't do it. But he, who is this he? Basically, it is that person who has hope, who has courage, and who has determination. It is basically that person. So he will reply to these prevailing thoughts or ideas or people in the society with what? With a chuckle, with a smile on his face. And he will reply. He with a chuckle replied. What did he reply? That, see, there are inverted commas, and it means these are the exact word of the person. It is being quoted. He will say that maybe it could not. Maybe you are right. Maybe it is a very difficult task. Maybe it is very difficult to achieve this result. But, contrasting idea is coming, he would be one who wouldn't say so till he had tried. I'm not going to be the one who would say, yeah, because people say that this thing cannot be done, so yes, it could not be done. It is not possible. I will not say that. That person, he will not say that. He will say, yes, maybe it could not be done, but I will not say so until I try it myself. We used to say, try again. The same concept is here. That he, that specific he, will reply in a manner that yes, maybe it's a difficult task, maybe it is not easy to achieve this thing, but I will not say it without trying it. I have to try it. I will first try it, and if I fail, then maybe I will say, okay, yes, you were right, it could not be done. But without trying it, I will not brag about it. I will not say that it could not be done. I hope it's clear. Look at the second stanza. So he buckled right in with a trace of a grin on his face. Now again, the same person that has these qualities, he. So he buckled right in with a trace of a grin. He has a slight traces of grin, of smile on his face, with an open heart, with an open mind, with no worries. If they are threatening you, if they are asking you, this is a very difficult thing, this could not be done. So it means here you need courage. You should not be worried, you should not be nervous, you should not be intimidated by the height or the mass of the task. It means you should be, you should stay calm, you should stay relaxed, and put a smile on your face. Ignore all those external forces that influences your thought or your action. Ignore them. So this person, this he, this ideal he, what he did, he buckled right in. He get ready. Buckling means when you get ready to do something. In Pashto we say right? So he buckled right in with a trace of a grin on his face. He put a smile on his face, and he got ready to do the job. If he worried, he hid it. Of course, he is a human being at the same time. He is courageous, but he is a human being. So, and even if he is worried, even if this idealized person is worried, he has hidden his fear. Sometimes in life, you're so worried, you're so upset. But for example, if there's a problem in your family, and you're worried and you're upset, but most of the time you used to console our parents or brothers or sisters. So we used to hide our own pain. We used to hide our own problems. Although we are worried, we are intimidated, we are nervous, we are in a fearful situation. But we used to hide all those things and feelings just to encourage them, to console them. In the same way, even if that person is worried, and he feels in danger, he used to hide it. He started to sing as he tackled the thing. That could not be done. And as soon as he began working on this very new, novel idea, as soon as he begins on this tremendous task, this new task, he started to sing along the way. He started singing so that, to kill the idea. Which idea? The idea that is disturbing him. And that disturbing idea is, it could not be done. That is why it is the title of the poem. That is the disturbing idea. So to get rid of that disturbing idea, he is singing. He is deviating his attention from the worries and the problems and the warnings, basically. He is trying to deviate from the warnings. And as he did it, and immediately, as soon as he started working on that, he realized, okay, that was possible. I did it. People were threatening me, warning me, this job is not easy, this thing is not easy. This idea that you come up with, nobody did that before you. How can you do that? This is not possible, etc., etc. And he did it. But how did he do it? Remember, he did it with a grin, a smile on his face, and he was singing while working on that thing. Now, it does not necessarily mean that when you do something or when you do a courageous task, you should, sing. It means you should sing by your heart. You should not be worried. You should stay calm and relaxed and cool and then do the thing, do the job. If you are in panic, if you are worried and you are working on something, you cannot give you 100%. You cannot do it properly. So to do a job properly, and especially a new job and a new idea and a new concept, you should be mentally relaxed, focused, and you should ignore all these other things and just stay focused on your task. Stanza number 3. Again, somebody scoffed. Oh, you will never do that. Again, somebody. So somebody is representing the voices of the society, the common people, the normal people, the common masses, those who are not willing to take risks, those who used to call themselves realists, those people who used to call themselves rational, and all those people, what they will do? They will scoff, they'll laugh at you, they'll mock you, they will make fun of you, and they will say, oh, you will never do that, you cannot do that, you will never succeed, nobody did that before you. You are the first one who is doing it. Before you, people came, they tried and they failed. You will also fail. This will be the prevalent idea from their mouths. They will be warning you. They will be saying, they will be laughing at you. At least no one we know has done it. This is a very common dialogue. This is a very common concept that people used to discuss and come up with, that nobody that we know has ever done this. So how can you be the first one, and how can you do it if nobody before you did it? This is very common. This is very much normal that people will warn you that, see, you are doing a new thing for the first time. For example, all these technologies, the new inventions that we are having right now with us, all of them began as blasphemies. It's a very famous quotation. I don't know the exact wording of that. That is why I'm skipping that. But, for example, the mobile phone. The concept of mobile phone, that a person is sitting here in Asia and he can talk to somebody in America. Even they can communicate not only verbally, but they can see each other. That was a wonder. If that idea was killed back then by the person who invented phones, we would never have had phone by now. Right? So in the same way, the very common, warning, or the very common concept out there in the society is, at least no one we know has done it. तुमसे पहले किसी ने नहीं किया. That is, the very common thing that people will warn you about. But he took off his shawl. Now, but it means a contrasting idea is coming. But he took off his coat and he took off his hat. Now, removing your hat or taking off your hat and coat, what does that signify? It means that you are getting ready for a job. right? So he was getting ready for that job. He was not intimidated by the concept. He was not intimidated by those warnings. He was not afraid of doing or committing this thing or attempting this thing. He was not afraid. He removed his coat, he removed his hat, and the first thing we knew, he had begun it. And the very first thing that we come across him, and the first thing that we saw, for example, you are warning a person, don't do this. This is the first time you will do it. Or this thing has never been done before. Why are you going to attempt the same thing? Just don't. And you look at him and he's ready to do that. So this ideal person will not listen to all these ideas. That ideal person who has hope, courage and determination will never be intimidated by these warnings. And he will start working on his idea, on his new concept, on phenomena that he has in his mind or her mind. They will work immediately on that. Stanza number 4. With a lift of his chin and a bit of a grin, without any doubting or quitted. Now, lifting your chin means that if you are doing something for the first time, don't feel ashamed of that. Or if you are doing a new thing, or if you are coming up with a new idea, or even if it is a taboo idea or a taboo topic or something that nobody has worked on before you, and you are coming up with this, don't tilt your head down. Just, keep your head up. Keep your morale, up. Don't be intimidated by the ideas. Don't worry. Just stay calm. Keep your chin and head up. Feel proud of whatever you are doing. With a lift of his chin. Means his chin is lifted, his head is, above all, and he is proudly doing that. And a bit of a grin, and he is having a smile on his face. Without any doubting or quitted. He has no doubts. You should be very clear when you are doing something. You should not try to ride two boats at the same time. You should be very clear, why am I doing it, or how am I going to do that. You should be clear in your mind, without any doubting or quitted. Quitted again, confusion, ambiguity. So you should not have these things in your mind. Is or ideal character has courage, hope and determination. It means he is clear, he has no doubts in his mind. He started to sing as he tackled the thing. That couldn't be done, and he did it. Again, that person, he started to sing. He was happy in his heart. He was happy in his mind when he started doing that job, when he started doing that thing. He was not worried, and he tackled the thing. He managed the thing. He succeeded in doing that. Think. This word is being used, think. There is no specific job, no specific phenomena, or no specific achievement. They are using the word somebody most of the times and think. By think, they means to say that can be anything. That can be any idea that you come up with. So it is not specific to only scientific discoveries or inventions. It can be anything. It can be a social act. It can be it can be a taboo topic or a taboo phenomenon. Right? That couldn't be done, and he did it. And that job was not previously done, and nobody did that before him, but he did it. He succeeded. But the criteria or the criterion for succession is that thing that we have been exploring through the preceding lines, right? That he is not worried, he is clear-minded, he is not intimidated by the warnings of the people. The second last stanza number 5th. There are thousands to tell you it cannot be done. There are thousands to prophesy failure. There are thousands to point to you, one by one, the dangers that await to assail you. There are thousands. This phrase is being repeated 3 times in each line of this stanza, and we call it as anaphora. The repeated lines, the repeated reference is given to the same idea time and again. We call it as anaphora. So anaphora is deployed here in this stanza, And the line is there are thousands to tell you it cannot be done. There are thousands of people, there are thousands of minds, there are thousands of tongues that will utter the same thing, that you cannot do it. These people will keep on telling you. There are thousands and thousands of people who will warn you, who will tell you that you cannot do it. There are thousands to prophecy failure, and there are 1,000 people, there are thousands and thousands of people who will prophesy, who will predict, who will guess, who will prophecy your failure. Nobody did that. You will be a failure. You will fail in this job. You will fail in this endeavor. You will fail in this phenomena. You will fail in this scientific, discovery or invention that you are trying to make. Thousands of people will do that or say that. There are thousands to point to you one by one, and there are thousands of people who will point out one by one the dangers that await to assail you. They will tell you, see, this thing will happen to you. Maybe you will face this problem also, because somebody was trying to do that and he faced this and that problem. They will always be focused on the negative side of these things. They will never show you or tell you or prophecy your success. They will never show you the positive side of that thing. They will never encourage you. There are thousands of people. One of the concept, the same concept, or worthy director, he used to say and give an example that, for example, look at this wall, or for example this whiteboard. If I rub everything out of it and there is only a black dot on this whole whiteboard or on this whole wall, so we have this mentality, we have this negativity inside us, that most of the people will be focused on this black dot or this blue dot, that see, this thing looks very awkward on this whiteboard, or this thing is very awkward. They will be focused on this thing. They won't consider the whole whiteboard or the whole wall, which is clean, neat and white. They won't look at the achievements that you have done in your life. Just imagine that these are your achievements and this is your failure. People will always talk about your failure, but not about these achievements. And that is very relevant to this stanza. I'm going to discuss the last stanza of the poem. Now he is giving you an advice. But see, this line begins with the coordinating conjunction but, and of course a contrasting idea is coming. But just buckle right in with a bit of a grin. The writer is telling you, or the speaker of the poem is encouraging you or telling you, people will say all these things that we have discussed in the previous stanzas, that people will say all these things, but what you are supposed to do, just buckle right in with a bit of a grin. Ignore all that, put a smile on your face, and get ready. Just take off your coat and go to it. Now, taking off your coat does not necessarily mean that you will take off your coat. It means get ready, just, and just go to that. Start working on it. Ignore all these other things. Just start to sing as you tackle the thing. Start singing. Most of the time when we used to enjoy something, that is because you don't care. You are not worried. You are free. You are not considering the external forces. Right? So he is encouraging you to do that. To start singing when you are dealing with the thing. The thing again. The word thing is used. It means anything. Any idea. That cannot be done. People are saying about it. It cannot be done. And you will do it. If you do this, if you fulfill this criteria of hope, courage and determination. If you are determined, if you have courage, and if you are hopeful, when you start tackling that thing, whatever that might be, you will do it. You will meet your success. You will be the person who will succeed. Success is your destination then. If you have these characters, if you have these criterion fulfilled, you will succeed definitely. I hope you understood the poem. The language is easy. The concept is also easy, comparatively easy, because we have been discussing this idea in the previous two short stories, and this idea is extremely and in a very beautiful